On a chilly Sunday night in Chicago, the atmosphere around Soldierfield was full of hope and excitement. The stadium lights shone brightly, lighting up the city's night sky, marking the start of a game that would soon be the talk of many. The Buffalo Bills played against the Chicago Bears in a preseason game that ended in a crushing 38-0 loss. This striking score immediately grabbed attention, as if it were a perfect reflection of the team's performance. National broadcasts highlighted the Bills' performance, which many called fundamentally flawed. Their offense seemed stuck, unable to break through the opponent's defense, while their own defense seemed overwhelmed by the aggressive Bears' attack. Not surprisingly, fans and the media quickly reacted. Panic and worry began to emerge, with many questioning the team's readiness for the regular season. However, it's important to remember, context is everything in football. This was the second week of preseason, a period where coaches focus more on evaluating players, trying new combinations, and giving young players a chance to prove themselves. The final score isn't the top priority. The final score was indeed striking, but it only tells a small part of the true story that unfolded on the field that night. Many factors aren't visible behind the numbers on the scoreboard. So what really happened in Chicago that night? Does this loss truly signal a big problem, or is it just part of a larger process? Preseason is about preparation, fighting for spots on the main team, and coaches testing strategies and game plans. Every player is fighting for a spot, and every coach's decision has a long-term goal. Before we jump to conclusions and see this crushing defeat as a disaster, let's break it down further. We'll see why this 38-0 result isn't the end of the world, but rather an important lesson on the long journey toward the real regular season. Preseason results don't predict how the regular season will go. Teams like the Ravens have been great in August, only to stumble when it really matters. The goal is different. In preseason, it's about checking out talent and staying healthy, not winning. Coaches use simple plays, avoid injuries, and test players whose spots aren't guaranteed. Simple play calls lead to bad games and lopsided scores if one team plays more of their main guys. The 38-0 loss doesn't mean the Bills are terrible. It means their goals were different from the Bears. The Bears needed confidence and practice. The Bills needed answers about their team's depth. Preseason is a practice, not the real show. Head coach Sean McDermott's preseason philosophy is very clear. For McDermott, preseason isn't about getting wins. It's about building a strong team foundation for the regular season. His main focus is to protect his star players from getting hurt and to give all players a chance to show what they can do. Preseason is a time to try things out, watch, and judge, not to chase points on the scoreboard. Key players only play a little bit, just enough to stay in rhythm and work together, but not so much that they risk getting hurt. Injuries in preseason can ruin a whole season's hopes, so being careful is the top priority. This is where young players and new guys get noticed. They are tested, not just on how strong they are, but also on their minds. Can they handle the pressure of the NFL and do the basic tasks well? The Bills purposely use a simple playbook during preseason. There are no tricky plans or hidden game strategies. This is all done so coaches can judge the basic skills of players without getting sidetracked by complex plays. Because of this, the team sometimes looks messy or even not ready. But this is part of a planned strategy. It lets players learn from mistakes and shows how they react when things are tough. McDermott is okay with his team looking a bit shaky in August, as long as they are healthier, sharper, and more ready when the regular season starts in September. For him, learning is much more important than how they look right now. The main question during preseason is about how deep the team is. Who deserves a spot on the final team? Who can compete? And who can be a surprise? What players do on special teams also matters a lot. Many young players get a spot on the main team by how well they play on special teams, showing their spirit and hard work. Also, coaches want to see who stays calm and plays well under pressure, whether they are facing tough opponents or when things don't go as planned. The final score of a preseason game is almost never the main thing coaches care about. What's more important is how each person shows improvement, consistency, and mental readiness. In the end, the answers coaches are looking for are found in the game footage. They watch every move, decision, and reaction of the players in detail. This is the real way to judge, and it means a lot more than just the numbers on the scoreboard. The Bills' play calls were kept simple on purpose. This is called running a vanilla playbook. In American football, vanilla means a team isn't showing off fancy plays or tricky moves. They're just using basic plays. No frills, no surprises. This is pretty common in the preseason when teams want to keep their real game plans a secret from their rivals. Teams hide their real strategies in the preseason to avoid giving away secrets to future opponents. By only showing the simplest plays, they make sure opponents can't figure out their patterns or what they like to do when the regular season starts. It's like keeping an ace up your sleeve, waiting for the right moment to use it. Simple plays also help coaches see how good players really are, not just how well they can run complicated plays. By taking away the fancy stuff, coaches can see who has natural talent, speed, strength, and smarts for the game. This is the time to see who can shine without a complex system helping them. If a player stands out, it's because of their skills, not the play design. Players who can make a difference on the field in preseason are usually the ones truly ready to compete at the highest level, no matter what strategy is being used. The downside? A vanilla approach is easy to defend and attack, especially if the opponent is playing their main guys with something to prove. An aggressive opponent can easily read and stop plays that are too simple, making a team like the Bills look less creative or even weak. The Bears looked great because they were aggressive. The Bills focused on evaluating their players. Often, opposing teams who want to build confidence will go all out in the preseason, while teams like the Bills prefer to hold back for their long-term goals. The result? A lopsided score, but a clear picture of who can play. The final score might not show the team's true strength, but the coaches get important info about which players are worth keeping. Preseason is about testing players, not plays. It's like a lab for experiments, a place where the team's future is shaped, even if the scoreboard looks disappointing to fans. Even in a 38-0 loss, there were good things. Defensive tackle Deone Walker really stood out with his hard work, showing he could be a key player in the rotation. Rookie kicker Caden Davis showed he has a strong kick, and the punting game was also solid. Special teams details are important during a long season. These individual successes are the real wins of the preseason. Developing young talent is more valuable than a meaningless win. Coaches will focus on these bright spots as they build the roster. Preseason is also about dealing with tough stuff, like injuries and changes to the team lineup. An injury to rookie Jordan Hancock made the Bills change their defense, which tested the backup players. These sudden changes showed where the team wasn't deep enough and pointed out spots that might need more players. When backup players like Joe Andreessen struggle, it's part of the process. Coaches need to see who can adjust. Trying out different players in new spots and new ways of playing can lead to mistakes, but it gives important information. The game against the Bears was a big test for how deep the Bills team was. It showed what they were good at and what they needed to work on before the season started. The Bills and Bears went into the game with completely different goals. The Bears, with a new coach and a rookie quarterback, needed practice, confidence, and momentum. They played their starters longer and treated the game like a showcase. The Bills, an established contender, focused on health and evaluating backup players. Their stars barely played, and the playbook was intentionally basic. One team was running, the other was walking. The result was predictable. The Bears looked dominant, but the Bills got what they needed. It was a mismatch of motivation, not talent. It's easy to freak out after a big loss, but the situation matters. This was like a really big practice, not a sign of how the Bills' regular season will go. The real offense and defense were kept secret. Most of the main players barely played. The Bills looked shaky in earlier preseason games and still got better when it counted. A team's identity is built over 17 games, not just one night in August. Trust the way things are done that has brought constant success. The real challenge is still ahead. With the preseason over, the focus shifts to final roster cuts, health, and game planning for Week 1. The performance against the Bears will help shape the final 53-man roster. The main goal is to stay healthy and evaluate depth, not to win in August. The next few weeks are about getting everyone ready and putting in the real schemes. Preseason is about individuals. The regular season is about the team. The Bears game was just one step in a long journey. The real season and the real Bills are about to hit the field.